Today's October 24th, and today's quote is entitled Yesterday's Junk. You can't reach for anything new if your hands are full of yesterday's junk. Well, this is a great topic because we talked about this, or a related topic today in Bhagavatam class, because Bhagavatam class today was about not being disturbed by people and situations, but being tolerant and not disturbing others. So I was making the point, if we allow situations to disturb us, as we know, it grabs our mind, it grabs our attention, and that takes our focus away from our bhajan, from our service, from our japa. Yes, we're chanting japa, but we're not really chanting because we're thinking of that disturbing thing or that disturbing person or that situation that is upsetting us. And it draws energy, it draws focus away from our Krishna consciousness. So similarly, there's so many things that have happened in the past that if we retain that negativity that we had towards that event in the past and we carry it into the present, we can't move in the future move into the future that we want to create. As this quote says, if you're carrying yesterday's junk, you can't move into the future. If you're carrying junk, you have to let that junk go if you want to put anything new in your hands or your arms. So many of us, somehow or other, we get attached to thinking about negative things and things which bother us. And we can't actually move forward in our life thinking that way. And somehow or other, we don't really understand it or realize it or see what's happening. And we continually allow ourselves to be disturbed by situations. Now, I'm not saying situations aren't disturbing. They are. But it's one thing to feel disturbed. It's another thing to prolong that disturbance. It's another thing to act out that disturbance. It's another thing to allow that disturbance to throw you off course. You have goals in your life. You have a direction that you want to go. You want to go to Krishna's lotus feet. If you allow anything to distract you, to deter you, no matter what it is, no matter how valid a reason you have for it distracting you, it's still distracting you. So if you don't make it back to Godhead in this life because you were distracted by all these things, okay, you have good reason that you were distracted, but the reality is you didn't make it back to Godhead. And therefore, because you didn't make it back to Godhead, how can you say any of those reasons were ultimately valid? If it prevents you from becoming Krishna conscious, no matter how valid it is, ultimately it's not valid. It doesn't make sense. So it's a great lesson that I've had to learn in my life through very, very bad experiences, continual bad experiences of focusing on disturbing things that just I didn't like, they bothered me, people bothered me, situations I wanted to change, I couldn't, meditating on them, how upset I am, getting discouraged by meditating on them, because if you meditate on something that isn't going well, something you don't like, you get discouraged, you get upset. That is just the result of it, and we need to understand that. So I'm not saying things aren't wrong, I'm not saying things aren't bad. What I'm saying is when we meditate on them, it has a very negative effect on us. And if we're meditating on something other than what we should be meditating on, what's the point? If you're meant to go this way and you're meditating over here, you end up over there. So what's the point? Okay, this is bothering you. But if you allow yourself to focus on it, it just takes you off track. One of the things that's so important in our lives is focus. Focus on our goals. Focus on priorities. Focus on what's important. That these disturbances that surround us very easily pull us away from that focus. And then all of a sudden we're focused on something that has absolutely no value in our life. Something that often we cannot even resolve. We cannot control. It's just we can't accept it. And we allow ourselves to be overcome by it, upset by it, angry by it, agitated by it, disturbed by it. That's not Krishna consciousness. Krishna says, Dhiras tatra namuyati. Why does Krishna say a sober person is not bewildered or not disturbed? Because Krishna's pointing out, there's so many disturbing elements in the world. There's just tons of them. They're all around us. They're right here. Another disturbing element. Our own minds. So unless we learn how not to be disturbed, we're just going to go from one disturbing element to another to another. I mean, it's the material world. What do you expect? So Krishna wisely tells us, don't be disturbed by it. Just let it go. Okay, it's a disturbance. All right, just let it go. Don't meditate on it. You have more important things to do. Focus on your goals. Focus on your priorities. Focus on what's important. Now, the most important thing for us is Krishna consciousness, and we don't want to allow disturbances to deter us from our devotional service, from our good chanting, our good hearing. If you're not peaceful, you can't hear. If you're not peaceful, you can't chant properly. So, Krishna knew what he was talking about when he said, don't be disturbed. Because if we allow every little thing or every even big thing to disturb us, it disturbs our bhajan, it disturbs our meditation, it disturbs our chanting, it can disturb relationships. So, very important, tolerance and being able to handle disturbance in a way that we can calm ourselves down, let it go, drop it, it's in the past, move forward. Really important. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, tolerance is our greatest friend in bhajan. Powerful statement, meditate on that. Tolerance is our greatest friend in bhajan.